An alien queen pointed at me and declared, "You are mine." The encounter. Professor Marcus Drake wiped away the lunar dust from his faceplate, struggling to see through the swirling gray particles that his boots had kicked up. The excavation site on the dark side of the moon had proven far more intriguing than anyone had anticipated. 3 months into the expedition, they'd discovered something that defied current understanding of lunar archaeology. "Professor Drake, you need to see this." The urgent voice of his research assistant, Jensen, crackled through his helmet's comm system. Marcus made his way across the uneven terrain, careful not to damage any of the exposed structures. The ancient ruins they'd uncovered suggested that human colonization of the moon had occurred much earlier than previously believed, perhaps thousands of years earlier. "What have you found?" Jensen was kneeling beside a crystalline formation that protruded from the regolith. The structure glowed with an inner luminescence that pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat. "These crystals aren't natural formations. The radiation signature is completely unknown." As Marcus approached, his suit's radiation detectors began to chirp insistently. He reached out to touch the crystal, but before his gloved hand could make contact, the sky above them erupted in brilliant white light. A massive vessel, unlike anything conceived by human engineering, materialized in the black void above the excavation site. Its sleek, organic curves seemed to flow like liquid metal, catching the harsh sunlight and refracting it into prismatic rainbows. The ship hovered silently, defying every known law of physics. The research team scattered, some running for the safety of the habitat modules, others frozen in place by the sheer impossibility of what they were witnessing. Marcus stood transfixed as a column of blue energy descended from the craft, forming a perfect cylinder that touched down precisely where he discovered the first crystal 6 weeks earlier. Within the energy column, a figure began to manifest, tall, ethereal, and unmistakably female. As the light faded, Marcus found himself staring at what could only be described as alien royalty. The being before him wore armor that seemed to be made of starlight itself, flowing and shifting with each subtle movement. A crown of energy floated above her head, and her eyes, they bore into his soul with the intensity of twin supernovas. "You are mine," she declared, her voice echoing in his mind rather than through his comm system. She pointed directly at Marcus with a gesture that carried the weight of destiny. The word sent shockwaves through Marcus's consciousness. He felt every muscle in his body lock in place as those luminous eyes held him captive. Around him, the chaos of his team's reactions faded to white noise. "I am Queen Zephyra of the Xanthian Empire," she continued, her telepathic voice resonating with absolute authority. "And you, Marcus Drake, are the key to our survival." Dar. Evelyn Reyes, the mission's xenobiologist, was the first to regain her composure. She stepped forward, hands raised in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "We mean you no harm," she transmitted through her suit's external speakers, knowing the futility of the gesture but needing to try nonetheless. A second figure emerged from the energy column, a warrior clad in armor that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. He moved with predatory grace, positioning himself between the Queen and the humans. "Stand down, Commander Thorne," Zephyra ordered, her gaze never leaving Marcus. "These beings pose no threat to us." Marcus finally found his voice. "What do you want with me? Why am I yours?" "The crystals you discovered are beacons," she explained, gesturing to the glowing formations around them. "They were placed here eons ago by my ancestors, waiting for one with the correct genetic signature to activate them." The implications crashed over Marcus like a tsunami. "Are you saying that your bloodline carries Xanthian heritage?" "Yes." Her lips curved into what might have been a smile. "Your people's legends of visitors from the stars are more accurate than you realize." Jensen approached cautiously, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. "These ruins. You built them?" "Long before your current civilization rose from the ashes of its predecessors," Zephyra confirmed. "We seeded many worlds with compatible DNA, hoping that one day, we would find those who could help us face the coming darkness." Marcus felt a strange energy building within him, responding to her presence. The symbols on his suit's arm began to glow, symbols that hadn't been there moments before. "The marking has begun," Commander Thorne observed, his deep voice carrying a note of satisfaction. "He accepts the calling, whether he knows it or not." "Accepts what calling?" Marcus demanded, watching in amazement as Xanthian characters wrote themselves across his suit in luminous script. "To be my chosen consort," Zephyra replied matter-of-factly. "To stand beside me as we face the Void Devourers, entities that consume entire civilizations, leaving nothing but empty space in their wake." The ground beneath them trembled as more ships materialized overhead. The Xanthian fleet had arrived, their vessels forming a protective ring around the excavation site. "This is happening too fast," Dr. Reyes interjected. "We need to establish proper first contact protocols." "There is no time for your protocols," Zephyra interrupted. "The Devourers have already breached the outer rim of this galaxy. We have perhaps one of your months before they reach this system." Marcus struggled to process the information overload. "And you expect me to help you fight them?" "I'm an archaeologist, not a warrior." "You are more than you know," she assured him. "The beacon's activated only for you. Your genetic memory holds the key to ancient technologies that even we have forgotten." Commander Thorne stepped forward, extending his hand. In his palm lay a device that looked like a fusion of crystal and metal. "This is a memory stone. It will begin your awakening." Marcus hesitated, looking to Dr. Reyes for guidance. She met his gaze through her faceplate and nodded slightly. "If what they're saying is true, this could be the most important moment in human history." With trembling fingers, Marcus reached for the memory stone. The moment his gloved hand touched it, his world exploded into visions of impossible wars, dying stars, and technologies beyond human comprehension. He saw himself standing beside Zephyra on battlefields across the galaxy, wielding powers he couldn't yet understand. When the visions faded, he found himself on his knees, gasping for breath. Zephyra knelt beside him, her hand on his shoulder, radiating comfort and strength. "Do you understand now?" she asked gently. "I think so," Marcus replied, his voice hoarse. "But I need time to process all of this." "Time is the one luxury we cannot afford," she said. "The choice is yours, Marcus Drake, but know that the fate of both our peoples hangs in the balance." Marcus looked around at his team, colleagues who had become friends, people he'd worked alongside for years. They stared back at him with a mixture of awe and uncertainty. How could he abandon everything he knew? "What happens if I refuse?" "Then Earth will face the Devourers alone," Commander Thorne stated bluntly. "And without the combined power of human and Xanthian technology, your world will fall as countless others have before it." The weight of responsibility settled on Marcus's shoulders like a physical burden. He stood slowly, meeting Zephyra's gaze. In her eyes, he saw not just the fierce determination of a queen protecting her people, but something else, a vulnerability, a hope that he wouldn't reject his destiny. "If I agree," he began, choosing his words carefully, "what happens next?" "You will come with us," Zephyra replied. "You will learn of your heritage, master the ancient technologies, and help us forge the weapon that can defeat the Devourers once and for all." "And Earth?" "We'll have our protection," she promised. "Your colleague, Dr. Reyes, will serve as liaison between our peoples, coordinating the defense of your system." Marcus looked to Evelyn, who nodded her acceptance of the role. "It's your decision, Marcus," she said. "But from what I can see, this is bigger than any of us." He took a deep breath, knowing that his next words would change the course of human history. "Then I accept." The moment the words left his lips, the marking on his suit flared with brilliant light. He felt the transformation beginning, his DNA awakening to its alien heritage. Zephyra smiled, and for the first time, he sensed the personal relief behind her regal bearing. "Welcome home, Marcus Drake," she said, extending her hand. "Your true journey begins now. A destiny unveiled." The Xanthian flagship, Star Weaver, was a marvel that defied Marcus's understanding of physics. As he walked through its crystalline corridors with Queen Zephyra, he felt the ship responding to his presence, walls shifting subtly, lights adjusting to his preferences, even the air seeming to adapt to his human physiology. "The ship recognizes you," Zephyra explained, noting his wonder. "Your Xanthian genes are awakening rapidly." Commander Thorn walked ahead of them, his armor now fully retracted to reveal features that were almost human, save for the iridescent quality of his skin and the vertical pupils in his golden eyes. "The training chambers await. We must begin immediately." Marcus paused at a viewport, staring back at the moon's surface where his former life lay. "I still can't believe this is happening." "Doubt is natural," Zephyra said softly, placing her hand on his arm. The touch sent a surge of energy through him. "But you must understand the gravity of our situation." They entered a vast chamber where holographic displays showed the advancing threat. Dark tendrils of nothingness crept across star systems, leaving only void in their wake. The Devourers weren't just destroying planets, they were erasing reality itself. 17 systems gone in the last cycle, Thorn reported grimly. "They're accelerating." Marcus studied the displays. "What exactly are they?" "Entropy given form," Zephyra replied. "They exist to undo creation, to return everything to the primordial void. Our ancestors fought them once before, combining human and Xanthian technology to drive them back. That knowledge was encoded in your bloodline." "My bloodline." Marcus touched the glowing symbols on his arm. "How is this possible?" 3,000 of your years ago, a Xanthian expedition to Earth fell in love with your species' potential. They integrated with human society, passing down hybrid genes that lay dormant until the right catalyst emerged. She gestured to the memory stone now embedded in his chest. "You are that catalyst." As she spoke, Marcus felt memories surfacing, not his own, but ancestral recollections of advanced sciences and cosmic battles. He saw the original alliance between humans and Xanthians, the creation of technologies that bordered on magic, and the desperate last stand against the Devourers. "Show me more," he demanded, driven by an insatiable need to understand. Thorn activated a training simulation. The chamber transformed into a battlefield where energy beings clashed against the advancing darkness. "You must learn to channel the combined power of our peoples." The training was grueling. Marcus learned to manipulate energy fields, access quantum computers with his mind, and pilot craft that responded to thought alone. With each passing hour, his human limitations fell away, replaced by capabilities he'd never imagined possible. During a rest period, Marcus accessed Earth's communication networks through the ship's systems. Dr. Reyes had been busy. She'd discovered ancient texts that corroborated the Xanthian claims, hidden histories of star visitors and hybrid bloodlines. More importantly, she'd found evidence of similar artifacts on Earth, dormant and waiting for activation. "There's something else," Evelyn's recorded message stated. "I traced your family history. Your great-grandmother was part of a secret government project studying unexplained artifacts. She disappeared for 2 years in the 1950s, then returned pregnant with your grandmother. The timing aligns perfectly with known UFO activity." The revelation shook Marcus. His entire life had been leading to this moment, guided by forces beyond his comprehension. "We are not alone in this universe," Zephyra said, joining him in the observation deck. "Many species carry the ancient knowledge. But humans were special. Your adaptability, your creativity, made you ideal partners in the fight against entropy." "Partners?" Marcus raised an eyebrow. "You declared I was yours." For the first time, he saw uncertainty in her bearing. The ancient protocols required formal claiming to activate the genetic locks. "But make no mistake, Marcus Drake, this is a partnership. I need you as much as you need me." Their conversation was interrupted by alarms. The holographic displays showed a massive Devourer manifestation approaching the solar system's edge. "They found us," Thorn announced. "Earlier than predicted." Marcus felt the weight of destiny pressing down. "Am I ready?" "You must be," Zephyra replied, her regal composure returning. The weapon can only be activated by our combined essence. They rushed to the ship's power core, where a device of impossible complexity awaited. As Marcus approached, the symbols on his body blazed with light, resonating with the machine. Place your hands on the control matrix, Zephyra instructed, doing the same. Let our energies merge. As their powers combined, Marcus felt their consciousness blend. He experienced Zephyra's memories, millennia of leadership, the burden of her people's survival, and something more personal, her genuine affection for him, transcending mere genetic compatibility. The weapon charged, drawing power from both human ingenuity and Xanthian advancement. Through their connection, Marcus understood its purpose, not to destroy the Devourers, but to restore balance to the universe's fundamental forces. There's something you should know, he said as the energy built to critical levels. I might not survive this. Then neither will I, Zephyra declared. Our fates are intertwined now. The Devourers reached Earth's outer defense perimeter, their entropic fields dissolving everything they touched. Military forces from every nation fired futilely at the advancing darkness. Now! Thorn shouted. Marcus and Zephyra released the weapon's power. A wave of creative energy burst forth, meeting the entropic force head-on. For a moment, creation and destruction hung in perfect balance. Then, slowly, the darkness began to retreat. Not destroyed, but transformed, converted into new matter, new possibilities. Stars ignited where void had been, planets formed from the reformed energy. As the last of the Devourers transmuted, Marcus collapsed, his body struggling to contain the power he'd channeled. Zephyra caught him, her own form flickering between states of matter. We did it, he whispered. We changed everything, she corrected. The universe will never be the same. In the aftermath, Earth's governments had no choice but to acknowledge humanity's cosmic heritage. The Xanthian fleet established formal diplomatic relations, sharing technology that advanced human civilization by centuries overnight. Marcus and Zephyr became symbols of the new alliance, living proof that human and alien could not only coexist but thrive together. Their partnership evolved beyond duty into something deeper, transcending species boundaries. Dr. Reyes led the effort to identify others with dormant Xanthian genes, creating a new corps of defenders against future threats. Commander Thorn stayed on Earth as military liaison, training humanity's forces in advanced combat techniques. Standing on the observation deck of Star Weaver, now in permanent orbit around Earth, Marcus reflected on his journey from archaeologist to cosmic guardian. Having second thoughts? Zephyra asked, joining him. None, he replied, taking her hand. Though I never expected first contact to begin with, you are mine. She laughed, a sound like crystal chimes. Ancient protocols can be rather dramatic. But I meant every word. I know, Marcus said, pulling her close. And somehow, I think I always knew I was yours, even before you appeared. Together, they watched the sun rise over Earth, their Earth now, protected by the combined might of two species united against the darkness. The universe had changed forever, and in that change, they'd found not just survival, but hope for a future brighter than either species could have achieved alone. The ancient prophecy had been fulfilled, but their story was just beginning.